My friends, in the event that you are new to this wonderful card game and you have not yet signed up for a UGN Play account, you can now sign up with my exclusive referral code Alliteration and get yourself 50 bonus loyalty points for free, as well as additional loyalty points for every event that you play in within my referral code period. Why do you need these, you might ask? Well, loyalty points can be used to redeem free promotional cards in the mail, as well as other exclusive items coming in the future. The bonus points from using my code are enough to redeem almost any promo card right off the bat, and having your UGN account is going to allow you to accrue and track more and more as you go through your hero or villain's journey. If free cards and progression all sound super appealing to you, the links for all of this are going to be in the description below. Now, let's get on to the video. Good evening, my dear viewers. Welcome to another Alliteration gaming video. My name's Levi from the future. Actually, this is future Levi because this is the second time I'm recording this because Streamlabs had an update and just changed all of my recording settings, and the first time I recorded this, it came out looking like this. My name's Levi. Welcome to another Alliteration gaming video, and of course, as always, guys, every single week, same time, same place, it's Wednesday, so it's time for some Wealthy Aspirations. Anyway, I didn't think the video was super viewable like that, so recording it a second time, and I've got to go relatively fast because I have to try and get this out before I head off to my actual real job that pays me money. So this week's Wealthy Aspirations is going to be a little bit fast because A, I know all of the price changes already because I recorded this once already, and 2, I gotta hurry before work. And in the event that you're new here and you don't know what a Wealthy Aspirations is, same time, same place, every single week, every single Wednesday, we do a video like this where we just cover the entire secondary market, set by set, rarity by rarity, and go over all of the cool price fluctuations. And there might be a reasonable chance that you're one of those new people here because there's been a lot of you lately. Thanks so much for the support, guys. It really means a lot. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, and that's like super unreal. When I first started doing this, it was just kind of for fun because I loved the game, and now it's really blossomed into something beautiful that I'm really glad that you guys are all here for. Anyway, let's get back to what y'all are actually here for, and that's Wealthy Aspirations. We've got a pretty juicy market lined up this week. Last week was very dry. Not really anything crazy happening, but there are some wild fluctuations going on this week. Between a bunch of wild buyouts and then a couple new things being added onto the market, we've got quite a bit to talk about. So starting off with the secret rares, these we do not need to talk about. They are as cheap as they have ever been. Aggressive all the way down to $4. It's just crazy, man. These are some of the cheapest secret rares I've ever seen in my entire life. Going into our ultra rares, pretty much same old here. Stun Grenade, Needle, and Tristan Azure trying to carry the set on their backs. Not really doing a fantastic job at it either, and then everything else is really just a few dollars or even less than $1. Very quiet times in our ultra rares. Going into our XRs, this is where things are going to get crazy. Ignited Arrow is still very bought out, and it's not going to be the last of its kind. Needle and Azure pretty much still holding some relatively decent prices. These two being our like ultra rares of the starter deck, still pretty hefty prices as well. Our characters look good depending on who you are. Quick to Act back on the buyout train. This one had it hit like the $8 range for quite a while. This one was pretty reasonable for quite a while, and then it rose all the way back up to this $25 price point, and then who knows where it has to go from here. Total Erasure, another one of those really solid starter deck XRs, being very expensive. I think $12 on XR Stun Grenades is super cheap. 4 listings, get these while they're good, guys. Freezer Burn is another big one to keep an eye on. This is an insanely powerful attack, and I don't think it'll be this cheap as an XR for this long. One with Nature is also looking very juicy here. We've only got 3 in stock here, 2 at this $12 price point, then it becomes 20 bucks. One of the best cards in the format right now, guys. You got to keep an eye on those One with Natures. Continuing on, we're going to start to see the real craziness here. Arctic Conflagration, still super duper buyout price, and then Whiplash, super duper buyout price as well. The starter deck XRs do not exist anymore, guys. The real good ones, they are absolutely going the way of the dodo. We've got some super cheap characters here and there. Ice Slide Tackle also looking almost gone. 2 listings at 17 bucks from its $7 market price point. This one is on its way out, man. I mean, it's a solid card. I wonder if Frozen Slash is seeing similar results, because that is the real one of these Shoto attacks that I think is nuts. Hulking Grimace XR is super cheap. Hellflame Stomp, still very bought out. Soul Piercing Glare, incredibly bought out. Easily Excited, only 4 listings left. It hasn't really gone crazy yet, but guys, I've been saying keep an eye on these 0 difficulty foundation staples, especially when they're meta. Chaos is the meta right now, and you're looking at $7 on these, then they're $10 10, then they're 11, and then Lord knows what's after, man. I've been talking about this one and basic training are the two that I've been talking about for a very, very long time now. Ever since the day the set came out, I said get those sets while they're cheap. Daunting Message might also be another one. I mean, with the Starter Deck XR buyouts, you got to keep an eye on pretty much all of them at some point. Press Conference in the exact same vein. Press Conference, I don't think will stay this cheap for this long. People are really starting to come onto this card. Frozen Slash is really cheap right now. $4 for this is a steal, guys. Get these before they go crazy. I promise you, they're gonna go crazy. Uppercut is another one that I think you can keep an eye on. Same for Fastest Flame. That card can find its way into quite a few fire decks. Basic Training, gone, out of stock. $4, no more, guys. You had to get those while they were good. Lord knows what they're going to be coming back at now. I'd keep an eye on Extendo Hair as well. I think this is a good pickup at $2. This is a card that's like going to be really relevant in some really good deck at some point, I feel. I think Recovery Time is another one as well. Really, really good card in the format right now, I feel. Very, very low-key, very underrated card. And then here are these starter deck buyouts, guys. Coping with #1 and Scorching Aura are just gone. They don't exist anymore, guys. They don't exist anymore. Snack Time, really, really cheap. Way too cheap. Still a bunch in stock, though, so I don't think we'll see it go anytime soon. But you get to keep an eye on it. You get to keep an eye on it. Hellflame Pounce and Closing In. Completely bought out prices. Just crazy things going on here. I don't know if just like some Endeavor and Eraser fans hit up TCG Player and were like, we're gonna buy everything. Ooh, only one USJ at $2. That might be a worthy while to keep an eye on. Bench Press and Successful Results both gone. Crazy, man. Is someone cooking up something? What is he cooking? What is he cooking? This is some really, really weird buyouts, man. The starter deck buyouts kind of make sense because like starter deck XRs are such a premium, but Successful Results and Bench Press are very interesting. And then going into our promos, this is what I was talking about as far as the new things coming onto the market. If you don't know, now when you buy a box of Unlimited, you get a blind pack of one of these 5 promos here, these beautiful, beautiful alt arts. And of course, Release and Destined being the waifu tax ones, and also like the best cards of the group are pretty crazy. I thought these prices weren't really real. Only 2 sold at like these $80 price points. I kind of thought that might just be like shops buying their own stuff. But then if you look, there are 4 sold like that for Destined. So maybe these aren't like actually that expensive. Eventually they will come down. But man, if you're actually paying that price for these, holy cow, Godspeed to you, my friend. You've got way more disposable income than I do. And then Latents, Irrefutables, and Constantly Improvings are all super reasonable. This card kind of stinks, so I think it'll only remain a relevant price because like it just came out. But these I can see being like 10 to 15 bucks for forever. These are very, very playable cards, and they just look so good, man. I mean, like the arts already look good, but man, if you've seen one of these in person, it's like if you know, you know. They look amazing. And then after that, Chivalrous is still super expensive, not going to slow down anytime soon. And Season the Advantage and Petty Squabble are still really, really pivotal pieces in our meta game, so they're gonna this like little triangle right here are going to be expensive probably until those decks get banned or are dealt with in some way, and then everything after that is just super duper cheap, aside from our victories, of course. Then moving into set 2, our secret rares are once again cheap as ever. I don't think these are going anywhere anytime soon unless a Midoriya or a Bakugo one day comes out that just breaks joint effort. Going into our ultra rares, excited for what it's actually starting to give a little bit price point wise. It's been 20 for like essentially the end of time. It's finally starting to come down though, which is really interesting. And then nothing else really going on otherwise. And then as much as the UR excited is giving, the XR excited is taking, which I think is kind of funny. They've been like almost the same price for ages now, so seeing them finally kind of like take that tempo swing that they should from each other is pretty funny to see. And then aside from that, our characters look good depending on who you are. Again, Go for the Winds do not exist yet. I mean, they literally do exist, but they're just not on the market yet. No one's trying to buy Unlimited Set 2, bro. I think this just speaks numbers to how much people aren't buying Unlimited Set 2. 10 and 8 are really good price points on these ultra rare pickups. High values are still reasonable. We got a few more reasonable characters there. Force and Surrender, there's still a lot left of them on the market, but I would keep an eye on it, man. I'd keep an eye on it. In our Tokoyami infused metagame, and Forcing Surrender is just a really, really relevant card. And then we kind of have our usual group of staples that I always talk about. Small and Limber, Surviving the Finals, Ice Glidings, Strugglings. Strugglings are basically gone. There's one at $7 and it's got $3 shipping on it. So this is really like 10, 11 bucks, depending on how you think about it. And then I'm not sure what they're going to come back at, guys. I've been preaching Struggling and Graceful and these Chaos staples for ages now. If you didn't get in on these early, it's on you, man. These have been way too cheap for too long, especially now that Chaos is like actually like hardcore in the meta. It was only a matter of time before those go up. Graceful, I don't know if it's going up as much, simply because like, yeah, it's still a bunch of listens at $4. The relevant Chaos decks right now don't really play this card because they're kind of more aggressively slanted, but again, water's still a really good symbol, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I would keep an eye on a lot of like evil for like Knife Slice for set 4. A lot of evil cards could come out of the woodworks. New Training and Babies will probably be cheap forever just because of their alt art promos, but yeah, I think that's the main takeaway I would say is like there's like a reasonable amount of like solid evil staples here and there that like might be worthy pickups for XR. Stuff like Rooftop Vantage, Knife Slice, so those are the ones I would mostly keep an eye on, just because like set 4 is going to boost the evil symbol, right? There's no doubt that it boosts the evil symbol. Looking at our RLEs here, only a solid amount of exciteds left, only a handful I would say. We got one Rising Starlit listing left at a whopping $38. These basically don't exist anymore. They're essentially $40 is what we're looking at with only this group in. Yeah, that might be the world we live in right now of $40 Rising Starlets. We've got Meteor Shower and Bad Guys here still being like the pinnacle of prices for the Gen Con promos. Only 5 listings of Manly, only 3 listings of IER. The wells are drying up on some of these RLEs, guys. 3 listings for cheerleaders. There's not a whole lot of these things left. Again, the thing about the RLEs is like they're finite. We're not getting more. So our provisional promos, however, are not quite the case. And with our in-store provisionals, these have really solidified at some super decent price points. Waylay was trying to get crazy. It's still crazier than the others for sure at $14, but definitely not as crazy. I was trying to get even post store provisionals. The characters are really cheap. Photogenic Heroes cheap as heck. I think all of the national promos are super cheap. None of those are like the most desired cards in the world, but I mean, for what it's worth, they are there, and again, they are finite, so if you want them, there's only a set amount. Then moving into set 1, our secret rares are pretty much same as ever. There's a 1 full cowling here at 15, then another at 15 with $5 shipping, so really $20 on these. However, if you want this 15 right here, that's a pretty solid price for a full cowling for a nice little 5% there. And then Nitro is pushing that 30 as it always is. Our URs are same old as same old. Heat Wave is not $1 million anymore, it's just back to its normal $30 price point. And then we kind of have our core 4 here that are holding strong. Everything else after that is just kind of a few bucks, nothing crazy in the UR land, man. And then going into our XRs, jabs are just kind of this price now, I guess. That's crazy, man. If you're one of those people who's afraid of jab getting banned, I hope you don't own any of these, because holy cow, that would be a heck of a value loss if you owned a set of XR jabs and it got banned. Dark Shadows are expensive, but they are very on the market. Same for things like Ice Storm 1.3s. Destins are coming real down now to like a $12, $15 price point. I have to imagine this is a lot because of the buy a box promo. Those just look so much better. I don't think that we're going to see anyone doing crazy action on these now that those are out. Like if we're gonna pay like $20, we're probably just gonna be paying for that for the we're probably just going to be paying that for the buy a box one in like a few weeks or so. Requestings have kind of really settled at 20, which is not a bad price point either. 12 for reverse though is really good. $10 for Evil Gaze XR is a huge steal. 7 listings on Passing the Torch. There's a lot more of these out. These were like really scarce for a long time now, but we got 1 at 15, we got 3 of them at 18, then they go 20 and up from there, which is still about what you should be expecting to pay for like a starter deck XR. That's one of the most staple cards to have ever stapled. Just kind of a lot of really like decent like $10 to $15 XRs here. Home runs are more expensive than I thought they would be. Self-sacrifices are really coming down. A lot of these starter deck Deku XRs are holding really respectable prices. 16 on It Can't Be Fixed is pretty good. I don't think it'll ever be like much cheaper than that, especially with just how relevant Earth will be for a very long time, I think, even if like a bunch of their best cards get banned. I think Specialist of Sound XR is an interesting one to keep an eye on, because like as the RLEs become scarcer and scarcer, those like Specialist and Jolt actually become better buys, because the gap in them, like going from like $9 on this to $50 on the RLE, $10 on the XR Specialist to like $100 on the RLE. It's a big gap. So tight lips looking reasonable, tape being reasonable. A lot of really reasonable runes right here. $4.50 for quick creates is super duper cheap. And there's a lot of really solid pickups here. Wallcling climbing its way all the way back up to a $12 price point. This card was $4 for a very long time time. So this is quite the climb to make right there. Bonds is looking very, very cheap as opposed to its usual market price. And then from there on out, I don't think we've got anything too crazy going on. Apathetics are still way cheaper than they should be, man. Earth decks are, again, they're not going anywhere for a very long time, and Evil's gonna rise up in set 4, man. You got to keep an eye on these staple Evil XRs because holy cow, Apathetics should not be $4. One of the most powerful foundations in our metagame. Same thing for Strongers. Strongers are really, really, really cheap right now. Release is another good one to keep an eye on. I think the Buy a Box promo is going to keep this one from going supernova anytime soon, but if you just want a nice, cheap, shiny release, $3 is just like, man, that's as cheap as it gets. Same for Self-Assured. This is a great price on Self-Assured. Sticky Balls XRs, keep an eye on. Desperate Times XR, Shock Absorption XR. Again, guys, these old Evil XRs that are really, really cheap, keep an eye on them. Set 4, man. Set 4 has a really solid chance of just bringing Evil into the absolute limelight, and I think your collections, should you be planning on playing an Evil deck, be ready for that. There's Creepy. $3 for Creepy? Nuts. This will not be $3 after set 4, man. Evil gonna come back in hot. Water is a powerful symbol too that's just always kind of looking to come out the woodwork. Hopefully the Order symbol also gets hardcore love in set 4 because set 3 really did not do a ton for it. And guys, that is pretty much it on the set 1 XRs. Lastly, moving into our set 1 promos, we've got some really, really scarce numbers on these RLEs. There's only a few of these at this like $93 to $100 price point. 50s and 60s on the Gravlifts and Jolts. Wall Clings are essentially 40 now. The Extends and the Long Lastings are looking a bit more reasonable, but again, only 5 listings in the Long Lastings. Keep an eye. These won't exist for much longer either. A lot of these old school provisionals still holding strong. Crow and Frogs, man, people really think Crow and Frogs gonna get banned because holy cow, these are just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. It also could be a case of like a lot of people built Tokoyami for nationals, then like didn't get their world spot, and now they're like, okay, get this deck out of my hands, get this out of here. So we might just be seeing a big liquidation on those. And that's gonna be a wrap on this week's Market Watch, guys. Some really crazy buyouts going on, man. The starter deck XRs just don't exist. We're finally seeing a lot of these little staple foundations and pieces from all 3 sets finally being bought out. The Buy a Box promos are going crazy, and there's really just so much to keep an eye on, especially as we anticipate set 4 and how that might affect the market as well. So definitely a much more exciting week than last week. All we can really do now is wait and see how a lot of these buyout cards kind of come back into the market and what price point they try and come back at, and whether it actually holds or not. That's all I have to say on this week's Wealthy Aspirations, though. If you really liked what I had to say on this week's Wealthy Aspirations and you want to see what I have to say on next week's Wealthy Aspirations, as well as all of the other gameplay, deck profiles, tier list meta discussions, and super duper cool videos that I do, the subscribe button lets me put all of that stuff into your inbox. And if you want to leave me some feedback too via the like, dislike buttons and the comment section, I'd also truly appreciate that a ton. That's all the pleasantries for this video though, because that's all the time I've got. I've got to get this edited and get out to you guys before I have to head off to work. So thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and I hope that I'll see y'all in the next one.